Well, we're out here for another installment of Will It Work? This episode, you'll see that it might kind of work. Anyways, played around with this door a little more, burred out that hole. Took a hammer and tapped down this little piece that was high after I brought this ridge down to match this. The little rib underneath, wanted to lift the metal right here. Knock it down. It's still gonna have to be knocked down a little more or ground down and then welded and then ground again. But I'll deal with that later when I get to painting it. I went ahead and drilled the holes for the mirror. I readjusted this a little better. I readjusted this glass a little more. To me, it seems like it ought to roll up a little bit more, a little higher here. It doesn't look like it's quite seated there, so it might actually roll up a little more, but it doesn't seem to be seated up here perfect. I did find out why this back seems to be hitting. It looks like the this gasket trim up here has a gap. I don't know if you can see my finger there. I don't have lighting, but it's tight back here, and it slowly gaps right here in this turn, and then it tightens up again. This is held on by little flat head or wide, like self-tapper screws, wide-headed self-tappers. And my guess is the ones back here have stripped out or something. I don't really want to fix that right now because you would have to take away this weather stripping to get to it, which I don't want to do. Not to mention I'd have to pull that. I'd probably have to pull all of this railing off, and then I'd probably have to weld the hole and then re-self-tap it, or put another self-tapper out to the side of it, maybe through it. One on each side of where it's stripped out, if it is stripped out. Not sure. Deal with it later when I get to the point of where this weather strip needs to be replaced, because it's not really that big a deal in my opinion. That also might be why this window seems to like butt on it and still like have a decent seal back here, but up here it like bottoms out on the metal cap. So that's that issue. On to other issues. Inside the door. These holes where normally these little clips go for the armrest, if you've replaced your door or have messed with aftermarket doors, you will know that these, no clue why the hell they put all these, but none of them are used. In fact, none of them are right for this style handle. Maybe, or armrest, whatever, not handle, but yeah, that. So you see how that one is flat. That door actually, I had to put one hole in it, but one of them was actually correct, I believe. This one, if you try to use this one down here, which is the closest one to accurate, it makes the armrest sit like that to be able to clear this little handle, because there's a little cutout on the underside there that rests like that, which is how I had on this before, which you'll see why I had to widen that out, because I had used the original one and then I cut a hole up here so it sat angled. So this time I'm correcting it. I got the right measurements and I'm putting the hole up where it's supposed to be and this one where it's supposed to be. And now I have to just go find where my little jewelers or gunsmith or whatever, the little mini tri-file I have, tri-sided file. I have a little small one so I can get these little sharp corner and file this out where it's squared off, so I can pop these back in. And then that part will be done. I'll need to deburr out the holes for the mirror a little bit. I can't get to them with all the glass in. I'm going to end up pulling all the glass to do the body work on the door probably. The other thing that I'm not sure of. So the glass seems to fit decent, close right, be angled correctly, seems to roll up and down smooth. One thing I'm not sure of is the gaps. I didn't really show too much when it was rolled up, but you can see glass has a, actually let me roll it up just a hair. There we go, that should do it. All right, so the glass has a little bit of a gap at the front and then it tapers down to practically nothing back here, right? This outer gap is, I can stick my finger in it, and as I go back, well, yeah, can't really get my finger in there too well. So it's a little snug. yeah, it's a little on the snug side. The once the felt's in there, it's gonna want to kick this back a little bit. It's gonna want to rest against it, and without that bumper to stop the window from rolling all the way down, it'll actually get caught behind the felt, and I'll have to put something in there to pry it out a little bit to get around the felt, or do I want to rip it off? So what I'm contemplating, and I remember where I leave stuff. Sorry for the camera work. Trying to remember what people gave me for gaps last time. But at the front where the vent window is, I am at 1.25 inches. Sorry, poor lighting here. Yeah, 1.25 inches. Midway, just over 1 inch. Back of the door, just under 1 inch. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna have to do, let's do like I did before, and like, I think, if I remember the name right, Glenn told me that they did with their doors was split, which is what I did the passenger one. So I think you split it right here, roughly right in line with this. And you just run this down and you spread the door a little bit. I think I will have to do that to this one as well, and that should fix it. What I'm worried about is, right now, this is fairly close. This is actually curved up for some reason. It's like kicked up like that. Don't know how I can go out fixing that too easily. But it's not flattened like that one. This curve here is fairly close. This right here, the quarter is actually a little higher than the door. Same thing here, the quarter is actually a little bit further out than the door. Right here is fairly flush. Here is pretty spot on. The bottom of the door, well, it kicks out a little bit, as you can see my finger. So, this was the problem I had with the other door, trying to get it adjusted right and whatnot. And I don't know how I can get all of it correct without throwing other parts off, because the rocker is fairly accurate now. It's still sticking out a little bit, so it's like it needs to kick that way, like the whole door go this way some. Should fix that. Should bring this out a little bit to meet that. Should bring this closer to the rocker. I just don't know if the door actually has enough adjustment, so I might end up having to burr out some stuff on the front hinge work. But anyways, yeah, so that's probably next on the agenda, is splitting the door. The thing I'm worried about is which way is it gonna push out? Is it gonna push the outer shell outward, or is it gonna push the inner part inward? Which that has some give. So I'm really hoping it pushes the inner structure that way, but I don't know exactly which part will separate according to the hinge mechanism. So yeah, if I had to guess, it's gonna push this out. If I had to guess, yeah. So the other thing I found online from watching another YouTuber, I don't know if it's Follow the Builds? I don't know, one of those guys anyways. He's actually the one that gave me the idea to do the electric power steering mod. There's a company that makes some heavy duty hinge rebuilds that replace these. You take these pins out, which I actually rebuilt these, but I can't show you because it's way too hard to do with one person. I don't have a camera stand, but well, that's cool. Looks like they dropped the door right here. That's awesome. That's gonna be some fun fixing. Anyways, you knock these pins out and you weld in like a big piece of tubing, or a heavy duty piece of steel tube, and then it has a hollowed pin that you can grease that acts as the center hinge. and it is supposed to make these hinges work like a new car, more or less, like feel super smooth and sturdy and strong. Because right now, let's see if I can do this without too much. You can take this door and just, I don't know if you can see that moving. You can probably hear it. But yeah, this whole door can flex. Yeah, that's how much weight is in these hinges. And these were new, rebuilt. Well, not like new, they were my original hinges, but I rebuilt them. Put new bushings in them, powder, sandblasted it all clean, and they weren't badly pitted or rusted. But sandblasted them, epoxied them, put new bushings in them, and greased them, and so they're good rebuilt, but which kind of makes me not want to use these for that project, but I don't want to really buy hinges to mod. I don't want to spend the extra money to mod hinges when I already have some. But I'm really considering doing that mod anyways. But I think the kit's like somewhere around $100 maybe, 150. I don't even know. But it does the 2 doors, and it's supposed to make them way, way better. So I'm contemplating that. But yeah, I guess I'm still gonna keep messing with this door, get it a little bit better. I'm not happy with it. Obviously I have to fix this where they apparently dropped my door during shipping. Clean those holes up, split the door, and then I have to get someone to help me with aligning it to get it right, to see if I need to do any more cut, weld, chop, fab, whatever, to get the alignment right, or if it's got the room to do it before I can actually take the door off to final prep it to mount on the car permanent. Yeah, all right guys, thanks for watching, and yeah, maybe next time I'll have a working door. Later.